Hi, I'm Laura from Everyday Adventurous Images, and this is a video guide on how to take brilliant burst photos. In this guide, I'm going to show you how to capture every moment of movement using just your phone, so that you can enjoy bespoke works of movement art of your very own. So let's dive right in and take a look at what we'll cover in this guide. First of all, we'll look at what are bursts and why we should be using them. Then I'll explain how to take burst photos on your phone using 3 different camera modes. Next, I'll give you some tips on how to make your bursts brilliant. And finally, a step-by-step guide on how to select and save your best burst shots. So, let's kick off with what are bursts and why should I use them? You've seen my movement artwork. Bursts are the basis for all my movement images. Bursts are rapid-fire shots. Taking 10 photos per second, they ensure that you don't miss a moment of movement and increase your chances of capturing awesome shots by taking the guesswork out of trying to snap that perfect move. Your favourite burst shots can then be edited together to produce stunning bespoke works of movement art. Okay, so now we know why we use bursts, let's take a look at the different methods of capturing them on your phone. First up, burst mode. For most phones, this simply involves holding your thumb on the shutter button and letting the movement flow in front of you. Next up is timer mode, which enables you to take a selfie burst and is great for those times that you don't have your very own photographer handy. And next, there's video mode. This method involves filming your movement and then screenshotting individual frames later to get your burst shots. So, let's start with burst mode. The beauty of burst mode is that it's so simple. All you need is your phone. Just tap to open the camera app on your home screen, just like you would for taking a normal photograph. Do a quick check to make sure you're in photo mode. This is the default, so you should be, but if not, just tap photo. Then instead of tapping the shutter button once, like you would do with a normal photo, just keep your thumb held down. Hold your phone really still as you let the movement flow through the frame. I've slowed it down here so you can see each shot, but it really is that simple. I'll show you again. Just keep your thumb on the shutter, hold your phone still, and let the movement flow through. Simple. Just a quick heads up, some of the newer iPhones and Samsungs have a different system for taking burst photos. Holding your thumb on the shutter button activates video rather than burst mode. To take burst shots, you have to put your thumb on the shutter button and immediately slide it to the left. It might take a bit of practice to get the knack, but you'll know when it's working when you see your burst photos stacking up at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so burst mode is great, but what if you're out on your own with no one to take photos for you? Not a problem. Here's how to take brilliant selfie bursts using timer mode. First up, balance your phone. You're going to need to find a way to prop up your phone whilst having access to the shutter button. I try to remember to take my homemade, cobbled together mini tripod with me whenever I'm out. But if I don't have it with me, there are loads of ways to improvise. You can prop your phone against a tree, lean it up against your backpack or water bottle, or stand it against a fence post, stile or gate. Wherever you find to balance it, just make sure it's secure enough so the tiny vibrations of the camera mechanism don't topple it off. Then, choose your position. Choosing a position for a selfie burst in timer mode is the same as for burst mode, but with the added complication of where you can find to prop up the camera. So you're looking for as unobstructed a view as possible, where your subject can be seen all the way through the frame. Then, set the timer. First, do a quick check to make sure that live mode is switched off. If you have live mode switched on, then bursts won't work in timer mode. So if your live mode icon at the top left of the screen is yellow, just tap it to switch it off. Then, to set the timer, tap the timer icon at the top right of your screen. You can then choose between a 3-second and a 10-second timer. I find that the 10-second timer just about gives you enough time to get to your start position and get ready to go. Be prepared to go again. You get 10 shots in each timed burst, so that's not a lot, but you can definitely make it work. You just have to be prepared to go again, as many times as it takes to capture the full range of your movement. So make sure you're ready. Tap the shutter button to start the countdown. Move to your start position. And go. Oops. If you don't quite time it right first time, just go again. It might help to count down as you're making your way to the start point to help make sure you don't start too early or too late. There we go, much better. Burst and timer mode both make use of your phone's rapid fire burst function. But what about the times that burst just doesn't cut it? When you don't have a photographer on hand, but you want to freestyle with a greater range of movement, recording in more than just 1-second bursts. Well, that's where video mode comes in, allowing you to record longer bursts of movement and then going back to screenshot your favourite frames afterwards. So first of all, you're going to record your video. Just open up your camera from your home screen and make sure you're in video mode. If not, just tap on the word video. Then position your camera and, just like before, find a way to balance your phone to keep it still while the video is recording. Then just tap the record button and off you go. As you can see, you get a much wider range of movement using video mode. Then once you're finished, just tap record again and your video is saved. Once you've recorded your video, it's time to screenshot your favourite frames. These screenshots will become the photos you then use to create our burst, shadow or echo shot images. To do this, just open Photos from the home screen and then find and open your video. Let the video play and press pause when you see a frame you'd like to screenshot. Once you've pressed pause, you can then move your finger right and left along the thumbnail of the video at the bottom of the screen to move the frames forward and back to find the best shot. When you're happy, just tap anywhere on the screen to make the shot full screen and take a screenshot. Depending on your phone type, this might involve pressing the side or top button and the home or volume up button at the same time. Once you've got your first screenshot, You can do exactly the same for the rest of the video. So tap the screen to return to playback mode, and you can then either tap play or stay in pause mode and move your finger along the video thumbnail to find your favourite frames. Then tap on the screen to make the shot full screen and take a screenshot. You can do this as many times as you like for your video. And make sure you've got at least a few shots that are well spaced out across your screen so that you can then stitch them all together. Just a quick word on quality. Because you're using screenshots to create your movement art, the quality of the final image won't be as high as for burst and timer shots. They'll still be great images for posting on social media or using on your website, but probably won't be as ideal for printing and enlargements. So just bear that in mind if you choose this mode of burst capture. So now you know the 3 ways to capture your bursts, let's have a quick look at how to make your bursts brilliant. Setting up well can elevate a regular burst shot into a brilliant one. So here's a few simple pointers. Look around you. Have a quick look around to get to know your environment before you choose your position. Is there a particular shooting point that makes the most of a great view or avoids a dark or ugly one? Know where the movement will go. Remember, you'll be keeping your camera still, so choose a position where the movement can easily go right through your frame. You can take your bursts in landscape, portrait, or square orientation. Landscape is great for running and walking, portrait, great for climbing and jumping, and square is ideal for shots that are destined for Instagram, although both landscape and portrait can be used for Insta too. Now you've taken your brilliant burst shots, it's time to select and save your favourites. So, to find your burst shots, open your photos by tapping the Photos icon on your home screen. Then select Recents, so just tap the Recents album at the top left. And then you're going to want to find the stack. Bursts are stored in a little stack. If your bursts were the last photos you took, then they'll show up as your latest photos. But mine are a little way back, so I need to scroll to find them. So then you just tap the stack, which will open up your burst. Now you can have a look at all of your burst photos. So just tap select, which opens up the burst so that all the photos in your burst are now visible. You can then use a fingertip to scroll through each one and start to look for your favourites. Choosing your best shots is going to be very subjective, but if you are going to be stitching the shots together to create movement artwork, then it's worth thinking about a few things. First up, choose your absolute favourites, the ones that really stand out as the best to you. Choose a selection that are well spaced throughout the frame. It's quite tough to stitch a burst together if all of your shots are on top of each other. If there are 2 shots that are really similar and you can't decide between the 2, then keep both. Once you've saved them, you can really get into the nitty-gritty of zooming right in and choosing the best one. And if you really can't decide which photos in your burst are going to make the best shots, then you can keep them all, especially here where there are only around 10 shots of the runner actually in the frame. So, to save your favourites, just scroll through by swiping your finger left and right along the tiny thumbnails at the bottom of your screen. Tap the photos you want to keep. A blue tick will appear in the bottom right corner of the image. If you want to keep them all, you have to go through each one and tap it individually. I haven't found a shortcut for this yet. Then, once you're happy with your selection, tap Done at the top. Unless you've selected all of your photos, then you'll be asked, would you like to keep the other X photos in this burst? If you've changed your mind and would like to start over again, just tap Keep Everything. If you're happy with your selection and want the rest of the photos in this burst to be deleted, tap Keep Only X Favourites. And if you want to go back, tap Cancel. Once you've tapped Keep Only X Favourites, your photos will now be saved as individual shots, all ready to start creating your very own works of movement art. Almost there. I just want to do a quick recap on a couple of really important points. First up, hold your phone still. I can't stress this enough. When you come to stitch your photos together, you want each shot to line up with the next. So holding your phone still and allowing your subject to move through the frame is essential. Next one, spread out. Make sure that your movement moves. Position your camera in a way that means that your movement, and therefore your burst shots, will be spread throughout the frame, not all bunched up in one place. You can't stitch together a movement image if all of the shots are on top of each other. Videos. Easy versus quality. After watching this guide, you might be tempted to just use video capture mode for your shots. And I wouldn't blame you. It can seem like the easy option. But remember that because you're using screenshots, the quality of your final image won't be as high. So it is definitely worth trying to get to grips with burst mode. And lastly, iPhone and Android. I've used my iPhone 8 Plus for all of the screen recordings in my videos. So if you are using a different phone, or there's been a software update, then there may be some subtle differences in what the screens look like or how the processes flow. None of these should be significant enough to prevent you following along, but if you are having problems, please just let me know in the comments below. And that's it. Now you know how to take brilliant burst photos. And you know, what are bursts and why I should use them? How to take bursts on your phone? How to make your bursts brilliant? And how to select and save your best burst shots. So off you go. Take your shots and make them brilliant, and I look forward to receiving them very soon.